I'm going to share a little secret with you. The bottom line is I do take some major sick sadistic pleasure in making fun of TNA and all the stupid shit they've done for the past 11 years. There's a whole catalog of stupidity out there. And I enjoy making fun of them for it every chance I get. But sometimes, frankly, professional wrestling we take too seriously. We don't have enough fun with it. And you could be serious while having fun at the same time. And that's kind of the deal here. This is all about TNA and their many failures over the past 11 years. And that brings me to the subject of the next Q&A, which will be coming up Saturday, which will be hashtag WWE fail. If it's good enough for the goose, it's good enough for the gander. What's almost as fun is making fun of TNA's failures over the past 11 years, or making fun of all of WWE's failures, of which there are numerous over the past many years. So go to Twitter, tweet to @OffTheRopeShow using the hashtag WWEFail. Your questions about stupid characters. WWE's had stupid storylines, stupid finishes, stupid pay-per-views, stupid matches, all of that crap. Anything and everything, WWE Network, anything and everything pertaining to a WWE failure. Hashtag WWE fail, the subject of our next Q&A. But this one is all about hashtag TNA fail. Let's get going on this one. Willie Haywood asks, who's TNA's worst heavyweight tag team and X Division champions? X Division is easy to me. Robbie E, it's not even close. What the fuck about Robbie E made him an X Division champion? Who sits there and says, hey, look at this Jersey Shore ripoff son of a bitch. I'm going to make him an X Division champion. Worst tag team champions I could think of. The most obscure one might be Red Shirt Security, who I believe held the belts for a week. They were pretty bad. The Band, when you had the Freebird rule being used because you had Hall Nash and Eric Young, that was pretty bad in 2010. The worst heavyweight champion in TNA history to me is one of two choices. It's either Rhino because he held the belt for fucking 2 days, or it's Jeff Jarrett because of all the damn times he held the world title. And no matter how much they tried to ram him down your throat and cram him into that fucking spot, he still isn't a top guy, period, regardless of the company. So, in terms of long-term damage to the company, Jeff Jarrett is by far the worst world heavyweight champion that company ever had. Worst, just in terms of being the worst, Rhino, because he only had the belt for like 2 days. We Are Pro Wrestling, where would you rank Monty Brown's heel turn amongst the biggest mistakes TNA has ever done? Top 5. And I mean that. Top 5. Hey, screw that fucking guy over. So goddamn bad. Black Fox 86, do you think TNA failed in utilizing Monty Brown? Hell yeah, they did. The people liked Monty Brown. To this day, people still wish they could see Monty Brown. He was a cool motherfucker, man. The alpha male of the Serengeti. I miss the pounce. Now, that's a fucking finisher right there. I'm just going to run around. I'm going to bowl the fucking guy over. There ain't no science to this. I'm just going to bowl his fucking ass over. How would you have used him if you properly ran TNA? I'd have made him world heavyweight champion, period. Vince doesn't like to make black guys, especially babyface black guys, world champions. I want to make my company different. I'm giving Monty Brown a run, and I'm giving him a good damn run, and I'm going to have him beat Jeff Jarrett. I'm going to have him beat the Ravens and the Rhinos and the Abysses and the AJ Styles. Fuck everybody. It's all about the alpha male, Monty Brown. Dylan Schwartz, looking back, how should TNA have handled the world title in 2012? Austin Aries was hot, but Storm lost a lot of momentum by not winning the belt. Yeah, he lost a lot of momentum by not winning the belt, and he really hasn't recovered as a character. Absolutely true. I do like the fact that they gave a nice long title reign to Bobby Roode. I like the fact that they recognized where the momentum was going and what was the right thing to do for business by having Austin Aries win the belt. Then even him losing it at Bound for Glory like he did. I can't really complain much about what they did with the belt in 2012, frankly. You might be looking for me to. I'm not really going to do it, but you are 100% correct in that they really screwed the pooch with James Storm not winning that belt back. That was bad because you go on this whole road to redemption and then it just kind of doesn't really happen. At Carlito NSP, your hatred of Jeff Jarrett is well documented. Who would you have replaced him with for his position? The smart ass in me would say just about anybody. But in terms of top guy in TNA, like real deal, legit top guy, it should have been AJ Styles. Or it should have been the alpha male Monty Brown. It should have been somebody else other than Jeff Jarrett. The default guy to me would have been AJ Styles. You could say, well, he's not great on the mic and this and that. Yeah, that's true, but he was a TNA original, and he was much younger than Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett should have been there to help his company long term by helping an AJ Styles get over like $1 million. Not always finding a way to take the spotlight away from a guy like an AJ Styles or an alpha male Monty Brown. At Sam's Circus, what was TNA's biggest missed opportunity? Biggest missed opportunity? Man, that's such a broad subject. You could go in so many different directions, whether you're talking about storylines or characters or people that they brought in that they underutilized or they overutilized. TNA's biggest missed opportunity, to me, though, would have to be when they did bring Hogan and Bischoff in at the beginning of 2010. They did have a chance. They had one chance to wrestle away a little bit of market share from the WWE because they had people talking about the product. They had people interested in the product, and they completely screwed the pooch on that one. That has to be the biggest missed opportunity. At Orton G. Armstrong, how big of a TNA fail was turning AJ Styles heel when he was world champion in early 2010? It was a tremendous fail, although I get why they did it, and I understand why they did it, because they were thinking, we're going to do something different. We're going to make him heel. We're going to give him a heat magnet and Ric Flair. The problem is people don't really want to boo Ric Flair. So you're giving him a heater who's not really a heater for a guy who isn't really a guy that can get heat on himself to begin with as a heel. So it just... that just showed to me the stupidity of the Hogan and Bischoff regime. You're trying to take AJ Styles and turn him heel, aligning him with Ric Flair, even though Flair's not much of a heater, and AJ Styles sure as hell isn't going to be much of a heat getter. Imagine putting, at the time, mind you, it's revisionist history, mind you, but at the time, imagine putting Desmond Wolfe with a Ric Flair. How much more fucking sense that made? Just saying. Which TNA world title reign was the worst and why? And don't automatically say Jeff Jarrett. I will say Rhino's because it lasted 2 days, so up yours. All the other Jeff Jarrett title reigns were pretty goddamn bad too. At Javier Artabo, what are, in your opinion, the 5 worst things TNA did since January 4th, 2010 to Bound for Glory 2010? Ooh, you 5? I could probably come up with 5 just on the January 4th, 2010 show. Oh, geez. 5 worst things they did. Getting rid of the 6-sided ring. Just bad. You're going to take the one thing that was your company's identity, and you're going to get rid of it because that's in the big league. We use a 4-sided ring, brother. Well, you're doing that big league shit now, 3.5 years later, brother. So the 6-sided ring. 2010, doing all that dumb shit where they were bringing in a hall of Hogan's old fishing buddies, the Halls and the Nashes, the fucking nasty boys. Why? The fuck are you bringing these people in for? And you're not just bringing them in, you're bringing them in at the expense of putting them over everybody else on the fucking roster. That was bad. Let's see here. What else? You have AJ Styles beating Kurt Angle, but then AJ Styles loses the belt to fucking RVD. That would be another big-time fail right there. Another big-time fail would be Immortal. Everything about it. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other stuff. There's so many other specific little things that they did. Oh, I'll do another one. The first real opportunity a lot of people had to be introduced to TNA's product was that stupid, what the hell do you call that, red steel cage crap? Whoever booked that should have immediately been fired when Homicide couldn't climb up the fucking top of the goddamn cage, and that's why you had Jeff Hardy debut. Oh my God. Oh, and speaking of January 4th, 2010, instead of having Hogan sitting there coming out after the match and cutting this stupid-ass promo, and then getting word that something's going on in the back. You got Bubba Loves, I'm just going to keep going on and on and on. There's so many stupid fucking things. But yeah, Kurt Angle and AJ Styles go out there in the main event of that January 4th, 2010 show. They lit up the fucking joint. They absolutely lit up the fucking joint. And you're going to make it about Mick Foley and Hall and Nash and the band, and nobody gives a shit. How about the whole effing show? When you didn't have Beer Money versus Motor City Machine Guns as a fucking main event. Yeah, now as I'm thinking about it, I'm coming up with more and more. It's pissing me off. Thanks a lot. At Matt and Matt Prod. How do you think TNA handled bringing in Mick Foley? Shitty. Did they utilize him properly? No. What would you have done? A, maybe not bring him in the first place. B, if I brought him in, probably wouldn't insert him into the world title picture. Oh, God. And then they had him, and then they weren't fucking using him. So goddamn stupid. At Carlston Tatum. How would you have booked Matt Morgan in 2013? TNA really dropped the ball with Morgan in his feud with Hogan. God damn, did they ever. How would I have booked him anyway other than how they did book him? You actually have this big fucking monster who's coming back with his attitude. He's improved on the mic. You want to give him a monster push, but then you keep him off of TV every other week, or sometimes you see him once every 3 weeks, or you start having him lose matches. No, you have Matt Morgan start at the bottom and work his way all the way up and becomes a monster and doesn't lose to anybody, and then he wins the world title and he goes on a dominant run with the world title. That's what you fucking do, not the shit that dumbass TNA did. At Kyle Garner 92, which storyline do you think was worse? Claire Lynch or anyone involving Jeff Jarrett becoming world champion? Honestly, I'm going to have to go with fucking Claire Lynch. That shit was god-awful. That was so dumb. That just reeked of a Dixie idea. Way to go, Dixie. Maybe it wasn't your idea. But you know what? You're the face of the company. You run the show. So ultimately, it is your idea, Dixie. So thanks a lot for Claire Lynch. Yeah. At Designation. Top 3 biggest fails in TNA history. Woo, 3 biggest fails. And 3 things you would do if you were in charge of TNA at this moment. Let's start off with the 3 things I would do if I was in charge of TNA at this moment. Number 1, make sure Dixie Carter never touches it again. Number 2, like Paul Heyman once said, chop the head off of almost everybody in that company that's 40 and older. Number 3, identify my 4 to 6 guys that were my guys, not WWE, big timers that are now down here on a semi-retirement, and build the company around them. Top 3 biggest fails in TNA history would be the fact that they always found a way to bury guys and ruin guys and hurt guys like AJ Styles at the expense of these washed up fuck vets like Jeff Jarrett and the Ravens and the Rhinos and shit like that. Hogan and Bischoff, that's a pretty big TNA fail. And Dixie Carter. That would be your other really big TNA fail. Of so many TNA fails, just Dixie Carter in general. You could say Vince Russo. Well, there's another really big fail. Dutch Mantel, he wasn't exactly the greatest booker of TNA's product in the world. I don't give a hell what Dutch Mantel said. Can't always blame Russo for all this shit. You were involved in that crap too. Alright, so now thinking about it, I didn't have much fun doing this because now I'm pissed. All the opportunities that TNA had to become a real viable number 2 contender to WWE. And they blew them. All these opportunities to make interesting television, all these opportunities to make new great stars. And they ruined them. Why? So you could feature the King of the Mountain? So that way you could have a fucking Stone Scott Hall and a fucking pilled out of his mind Kevin Nash as your tag team champions? So you could bring in the Nasty Boys? So you could bring in Jimmy Anvil Neidhart to beat Jay Lethal clean on television with his huge gut with the crowd sarcastically chanting, "You still got it"? God damn it. Hashtag TNA fail. That company has been a failure in so many damn ways. And next time, I can't wait to talk about all the great failures in WWE's history. So make sure you take to Twitter and tweet those questions to me. Hashtag WWE fail.